Hello, thank you for listening to A Glimpse of the Kingdom. I'm Dr. David Pendergrass. Being rejected is incredibly painful, and neurology demonstrates it. MRI studies demonstrate that the pain we experience during social ostracism, or one might say rejection, activates the same region of our brain as physical pain. That is, our brain processes social pain the same as physical pain. No one likes rejection. In fact, repeated instances of rejection can be devastating to us humans. Depression, anxiety, rage, and other powerful negative emotions will often arise. Those are powerful words: depression, anxiety, rage. Of course, without healthy coping mechanisms, humans will do whatever possible to end those powerful negative emotions. This is typically the cause of numerous addictive behaviors. Whatever you choose to abuse, alcohol, food, sex, etc. Most people are desperate to medicate and numb those terrible feelings that come out of being rejected, the loss of healthy relationships. Now, no one likes rejection. Rejection leads to loneliness, and prolonged loneliness is incredibly painful and destructive to humans. When humans are kept in isolation for too long, it causes them to go mentally insane. Babies left alone in the crib this is well-known studies where babies cry longer and eventually get to a place called infant depression. And they lose hope. They think that when they cry, no one's come there to rescue them. And they'll all actually stop crying eventually and realize that their needs are such that no one can meet them. It's very destructive for humans. This is very important to recognize in your life. That is the power of rejection. Why is that? Because whether or not you're conscious of it, you will and are making decisions in life in order to avoid rejection. You will make decisions to avoid being lonely. Now, of course, being alone doesn't mean you feel lonely. Ask any introvert. Yet being alone for prolonged periods does cause loneliness. Now, this is true of nearly any realm of life in which we have relationships. Friendships, acquaintances, business colleagues, and of course, marriages. I'm amazed at how many persons I know who put up with an enormous amount of toxic nonsense and even abuse because of the profound need to feel connected. In order to escape rejection and loneliness, they put up with behaviors that no healthy, rational human would tolerate, just because they don't want to be rejected. And typically, they don't value the things they're putting up with at all. They're just too afraid of rejection to change what they tolerate. Fear of rejection is a powerful motivator. How many couples have I met who are constantly locked in the same daggone patterns that cause pain, grief, and even deep wounds because of a fear of standing up for themselves and losing their relationship? How many individuals have I met who are constantly stuck in the same pattern at work because standing up for themselves might cause them to lose their jobs? How many individuals do I know who hold superficial relationships with so-called friends who are actually horrible friends, but do hold on out of fear of rejection? How many women, particularly, have I met who continue to stay attracted to the same type of immature loser boy men types who they think they can change and fix just because those kind of boy men types accept them? Too many to count. And that makes me sad. People do all kinds of things because they are afraid of being rejected. Fear of rejection is a powerful motivator. What do you do out of that fear? What do you not do out of that fear? For example, do you withhold how you really feel with your family member, friend, spouse, coworker, boss, because you're afraid they'll cut you off, leave you? That is, do you withhold how you really do feel because you're afraid of rejection? What secret are you keeping from that person? What habit do you have that you won't tell the person about because of what she might do or what he might do? What decisions do you make each day that keep you locked in your position in life because you're afraid of being rejected? What decisions are you making at your job out of fear of being rejected by your boss, by your peers, by your competitors? I know people who own companies who do the same unhealthy things just because they don't want to be rejected by their market share or whatnot. Who do you keep employed at your job, even though they shouldn't still be paid, but do so because you don't want to lose their friendship? I hear that one very often. What routines do you have in life that you wish were different, but fear of rejection by friends and lovers keep you locked in those patterns? And what do you do? Or what are you not doing? Because deep down inside, you're afraid of being rejected. What should you do about this? What should you do about the terrible fear of rejection? Well, to say it very clearly, the following suggestions I'm going to give you are not a quick fix pill. That's not how growth happens. Just hearing a couple quick little things doesn't make it all better. Growth occurs when you put into practice what I'm about to suggest to you. When you put it into practice, and that takes time, it takes discipline, it takes commitment. But this is what happens when people listen to podcasts sometimes or read the quick blog. They think, okay, you got 5 steps to a perfect life. Well, that sells. That's what sells magazines. Lose 10 pounds in 4 days and get that beach body ready. Well, that's just stupid. I mean, that's ridiculous. The implication is you're going to look like that 100-pound woman on the cover in 4 days. Well, that's nonsense. Well, it's the same thing with emotional healing. It takes a while and it takes discipline. But I guarantee you, if you put these things into practice, you will be better off. What are they? I've got 5 things. Number one, first, take the time to write the decisions you're making concerning what to do or not to do due to a deep-seated fear of being rejected and becoming lonely. I'll say that one more time. Take the time to write the decisions you're making concerning what you do or what you don't do. That's a decision. Due to a deep-seated fear of being rejected or becoming lonely. You got to be gut-level honest. Thinking about it is not enough. Healing begins when you get your thoughts and feelings out of you. And you can only do that when you're being really honest. And you got to get it out. You got to write it. Journaling, at minimum, is wonderful for this. A trusted counselor or friend is even better. Why is that? Because they can validate. And when you journal, pray. Personally, I journal like I'm writing to God. Many, many breakthroughs have come to me by God during my journaling. So first is you're writing down the decisions you're making. You might say things like, I'm not telling him what I really feel because of feeling rejected. I'm not telling my friend how much her tardiness all the time really frustrates me because I want her to be my friend, but I just hate that part of it. I'm not telling my boss how I really feel about blank because I don't want to lose my job. You're writing down what you're doing or not doing based on the fear. 2, fantasize just for a bit. Look over your decisions that you're making, the ones you wrote down, and then here's the fantasy. Assume you'd have tons of love and support in whatever you'd really like to do. That is healthy, of course. Just assume you had tons of love and support. Just overwhelming amounts. Profound love, joy, and sweetness and support. Now, what would you do? What would you really like to say that you're not saying to that person? Well, you guessed it. Write it. Journal your answer. That is, what healthy decision would you make if there were no real danger of being rejected at all? And write that down. Oh, well, you might say, Dave, well, if I felt completely safe, I would say, don't bump, bump, bump. Or this is what I would do in life. If I wasn't afraid of being rejected, I would do this and do this and this. Write that down. Third, get really busy forming healthy relationships with people who are safe and give you unconditional love. Unconditional love doesn't mean they accept all of your behavior. They mean they're committed to your good no matter what. People who really love you will tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. And it's because they're committed to your good. Not because they want to hurt your feelings, not because they just want to punish you, but they want to make you better. You only want to be close to people who give you permission to have your own view. You have a true friend when you share your feelings of disagreement in gentleness and not feel disconnected in the relationship at all. That is, the relationship, the commitment to each other, is in no way at stake. No matter how much you have a different view, that's a safe person. When I can look at my close friend and say, brother, man, I see that completely differently. I just think you're crazy and you're wrong. And he says, well, I think you're crazy and wrong. And then we say, let's go get some lunch. That's a safe place. That's a safe place. You want someone when you disagree and you have your own view, the relationship is not at stake. It's not at stake. Now, this suggestion is so very powerful because it'll give you the relationship nutrients that you need, especially when you have to make decisions in some other relationships that might end when you stand up for your own views or feelings. Let's say it one more time. Having healthy relationships gives you nutrients, especially when you have to make decisions in some other relationships that might end. They might come to an end when you stand up for your own views or feelings. It's like a safety net. Imagine your life like a river with several tributaries filling it from various angles and with varying depth and magnitude. Most people only have one or two tributaries filling the river with water, and those two little baby tributaries are weak and usually have some toxic poisons in them. Now really think about it right now, really. How many real good, healthy, wonderful relationships do you have? I know I'll say it this way, almost every man I know has no good friend. They're married, they have acquaintances with guys, they drink beer, they go clubbing, or they go to the boat, but not someone they really share their struggles with, fears with, feelings with. They're there in the middle. How many people do you know you'd be there, you'd call at 2 a.m, you said, brother, I need you right now, and they're going to come do it. Now, girls are a little different. Girls typically have a few more than guys, but most guys I know just don't have any good friends at all. And when people have this deep-seated, visceral understanding of the fact that the tributaries they have are crappy, it carries a profound fear of rejection. It's kind of like this. If those tributaries cut me off, no matter how toxic they are, then I'll have no one. That is, I'd rather have 2 or 3 little cruddy tributaries than none at all. You need to have several healthy, full tributaries feeding into you each week. You need to have several healthy, full tributaries feeding into each week. And trust me, when you do, it will become increasingly easy to make the decision you're afraid to make. When you do have healthy people investing in you, it is a whole lot easier to say no to the bad. And you're no longer scared of rejection as much. Why is that? Because you're getting your tank full, your river full, by healthy people who love you unconditionally. And it's awesome. Fourth, make up your mind. Just stinking make up your mind that you will no longer make decisions based on the fear of rejection. You have to make up your mind. Really. You must decide that you will not spend the rest of your stinking life in a self-constructed prison of intimidation and fear. The person you're afraid of losing holds the power over you. She's your warden. He's your God. And that's scary. What a sad, sad way to live. So, make up your mind. Decide to do whatever it takes for the rest of your life to make decisions that help you grow alongside healthy people. Not to make decisions just in case I get rejected. And I'd say it one more time, back to point number 3. When you have at least one healthy relationship, it's a whole lot easier to let go of the others. Fifth, once you've received some support from healthy, trusted friends, ideally Christian friends, begin making decisions and having conversations that face your fears. Your counselor and your friends might help you role play what you'll say. But here's a tip. When you have that conversation with the person that you've been avoiding, tell the person what your fear is. Right now you got kind of scared on the inside. Oh Lord, I would never tell them that. But listen, be vulnerable. Admit that you've not been forthcoming and why. For example, I've been meaning to tell you how I feel, but I've been so afraid that you'd reject me. Will you reject me if I open up to you about how I feel? Let me say that one more time. I've been meaning to tell you how I feel, but I've been so afraid that you'd reject me. Will you reject me if I open up to you about how I feel? Or you might say it this way. Will it really damage our relationship if I tell you how I feel, if what I feel is different from your view or a different feeling? Will it end our relationship? Will it damage our relationship if you and I have different views on something? Now, most people will receive that. They will receive vulnerability. Most people do receive vulnerability well. And if they don't, then you certainly know they're not safe. And you need to begin to limit your exposure to such people rapidly. Run away from those kinds of people because they're toxic. Now I'll stop there and this will get you started. So one more time, let me say all 5. Number 1, write down the decisions you're making or not making because of fear. 2, fantasize if you had all the love and care in the world, love and support, what would you really want to do, or really want to say, or really not want to do if you didn't have that fear? And write that down. 3rd, have healthy stinking relationships with people who love you, and the relationship's not at stake if you have a different view. 4th, make up your mind that you're not going to make decisions at all the rest of your life based on the fear of rejection. You start in baby steps, but you make up your mind, I'm not going to be afraid of rejection anymore. 5th, once you've had some support, once you've had some healthy tributaries feeding into your river, then you start making those conversations, having those conversations, and making those decisions that you're afraid to make. And you do it little by little. Now, nothing you do will make you start to like being rejected. It will always make you anxious to some degree, okay? So be it. And this is why we have healthy relationships with people who are safe. But again, no matter what, it means that you don't make decisions based on the fear of being rejected. There are people who will like you. There are people who will accept you. God designed us for relationships, and He will provide them for you if you look in the right places. If you keep changing to fit the other person's desires, because you don't want to be rejected, then you don't really exist at all. And that's terrible. God designed you to be you, not for you to be someone else. And by that I mean your personality, not all your behaviors. God wants us to change our behaviors to be righteous, for sure. But don't give up, okay? Don't give up. It's time to be set free from the prison of fear and what ifs. What if I say that? What if I do this? What if they don't want to talk to me? What if I lose our relationship? What if I lose our friendship? But she's my mom, but she's my sister, but that's my dog, and I don't want to lose my dog. And if you make decisions based on someone leaving you, and you really think they would do it, and then you have a conversation and then they do it, they are not healthy for you. They're not healthy for you. They're not. You need to understand that having a relationship with you is a treat. It's a privilege. And people have to earn the right. They have to earn the right. If they're toxic, if they got poison in their tributary coming your river, no, you gotta put a dam on that thing and stop it. It's a treat to be with you. And I still remember hearing this about 15 years ago. Because it's just right. Dr. Phil on TV show said, I'd rather be healthy alone than sick with someone else. I could not agree more. It's time to be set free from the prison of other people's desires and wishes just because you don't want to be rejected. Rejection is bad, but living a life of fear of that rejection while making decisions that you don't truly value is worse. God bless you. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening to A Glimpse of the Kingdom. To listen to other podcasts, go to iTunes and search up A Glimpse of the Kingdom. A Glimpse of the Kingdom. There you can subscribe to all the podcasts. They'll be automatically updated to whatever program you use, or of course through iTunes. Or you can go through my website, davidpendergrass.com. If you want more information about the marriage retreats that I lead, or more information about the consulting that I do, go to davidpendergrassconsulting.com. If you'd like to contact me directly, find me on Twitter at Dr. D. Pendergrass, at Dr. D. Pendergrass, and I will do my best to respond to your Twitter comment or question, and maybe even address your issue on the air on my podcast. I'll see you online.